because it's whatever conversation we have will be at a deep level about things that matter to the person, perhaps things that are unhealed or things that feel particularly good. It's an opportunity to share with someone at a deep level, maybe someone that you've never met before, or someone that actually you build a level of trust over a number of sessions that is really beautiful to see. That opening, that flowering of love and caring.
That's lovely. Would you say that talk therapy is part of what you're supporting with?
Yeah, talk is always a possibility. I mean, the person might talk for 2 minutes with me and go into a sleep trance and just deeply relax, and that does happen with some clients, and that's totally fine too. On the other hand, because the session with the Radiance Technique and MetaBrae both lead to a profound opening and relaxation, then areas of a person's psyche or beingness can come forth in trust. And we might talk about a past life situation that has always been hidden and maybe affected the person unconsciously, and now it's ready to move through in a way that is healing.
So would you say that MetaBrae primarily is for uncovering past lives?
I think the possibilities for MetaBrae are just being discovered. And certainly uncovering past lives is one of the areas where it has shone with some people, some clients. But there's all kinds of things that like post-traumatic stress disorder. Someone may have had a terrible fright as a child and they don't remember anything about it, and it may be limiting them in a lot of ways that they're not aware of.
And so how do you think it works, these backward spirals that you're talking about?
They're all about undoing. There is a sacred geometry, and spirals are part of the sacred geometry that is the foundation of this universe. Our DNA, the way that plants grow in nature, the way that dog and cat's fur grows. I mean, flowers, the way they put up their shoots. The spiral is so significant to all of life. And so the counterclockwise spiral is it's going to spirit, it's undoing. And this is a foundation level undoing. It's so symbolic. You're working with the foundation of, their bone structure. The thing that actually developed, you had 14 vertebrae by the time you were 3 weeks old. And that is from where the rest of you physically and emotionally and mentally and spiritually extends out from. In other words, it's like a place where there's a storage of energy and life lessons.
Did you say 14 vertebrae by the time we're 3 weeks old?
Yeah, 14 vertebrae. Amazing, isn't it? Just to think of that starting from one egg and one sperm, and 21 days later there's 14 vertebrae, and there's a thinking apparatus, and the beginning to sensory equipment, and the beginning of a life structure that will last for their whole life.
And so are your sessions primarily MetaBrae?
Unless someone asks for different, I tend to work with the Radiance Technique, which is very deeply relaxing. It's a non-polarized energy. In other words, it's a universal love energy that always seeks for the highest good of the whole, highest good of the person and all concerned. So, that I work with that first, And then when I turn the person over to work with the 4 back positions, I do MetaBrae at the same time, and then I will do another specific MetaBrae section of the session in the final 20-25 minutes. More if the person says, I really want to work with MetaBrae, I might change the emphasis. But I also work with the head, which is also part of your structure, obviously. The skull is also part of the bone structure. So, Tibetan head massage is, I just work intuitively and go to where my fingers and how much pressure and which finger to press. Fortunately, I don't have to figure that out. So that's lovely. And I also know how to do the lymphatic pump, which literally has been something that saved lives during epidemics. So, yeah, there's a variety of things we can do. I also know polarity. I mean, when I was at the Findhorn Foundation in Scotland, I taught one-week healing workshops to healers. So I did have exposure to a variety of different methods, and I will go with what feels appropriate in a certain time, place, person.
And you are from Ontario. How do you like living on Vancouver Island?
It's great. Yeah, I love the sea. I've always loved the sea, and I've spent a lot of my travel time near the sea, in the Mediterranean and the North Atlantic. So I can go from my home to 4 different seascapes, I call them, all within 5-minute walk. And rock, shoreline, fantastic wood sculpture candidates, and sun and surf.
How do you like the sociology of this place?
Well, it's so obvious very, very quickly that people are friendlier. They take more time with you. They'll talk with you. If you say hello to their dog, they will smile. They will talk as if there's no fear or threat, which is just a little bit different than downtown Toronto. So I loved Toronto in its own ways, but I think that Victoria particularly has a softer, more embracing energy, and it's easier to encounter people that are strangers, which is lovely.
Thank you, Brian. We'll be back for another interview next